At this time, I'd like to ask our president, Hal Garwin, to return to the podium to introduce our newly established special award, the Michael D. Lione Accessibility Award. Hal.
Thank you, Diane. Richard, thank you. I also want to congratulate all of the award winners. For my pleasure, I do know a number of them. I've had the pleasure of knowing their work and some of their activities. I also have had the privilege of having a service dog live with me for the last 10 years. Amber is an outstanding animal, a good friend, was my daughter's service dog, and she is incredible. She does all the things that you just heard and more. She gives really love now as a retired service dog and helping my 3-year-old and my 17-year-old learn what it means to be part of life. So I'm greatly joyful that they received this Anne Klein Award, as well as the Meyersons and others. And I do remember, Larry, when we did ask you to become an attorney for the Adult Protective Services. I've been here all 37 years of the Law Project, so I have a long memory. I have the privilege and pleasure of talking a little bit about the Mike Lione Accessibility Award. This is a new award that the Board of Trustees has established this year to honor someone who, besides his wonderful accomplishments and who he was just a wonderful person. A wonderful board member, a wonderful friend for many, many years. I want to thank Verizon especially for the fact that they have sponsored this award and that they will sponsor it in the future years. We will give this award every year to someone who has done something significant for the accessibility issues facing those living with disabilities. The Law Project and its staff, its family, will memorialize the dedication, knowledge, and efforts of an outstanding advocate for persons living with disabilities. It will remind all of us how much one person can accomplish despite difficult obstacles. Before I go on, I want to just show you something. This award is the award that we are going to give tonight and every Anne Klein Awards dinner in the future. It's a representation of what I could say was the inner spirit of Mike Lione. It is an original that was commissioned by Verizon. An artist from Arts Unbound, Tom Waite, drew this. It's with colored pencils. It really depicts who Mike was, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in the future. For those of you who may not be able to see it, it is on a basketball court. The figure is lifted out of the wheelchair towards the hoop, and there are spectators and players watching him going for that big dunk. I've never been able to dunk except for my 3-year-olds in the basket. I know all of you were shocked that I was not able to dunk when I was youth. The drawing is entitled Champion, and really that's who Mike was. He was a long-time member of the Community Health Law Project's Board of Trustees, and he too was an Anne Klein Award winner in 1988. He retired as a highly regarded executive from New Jersey Bell Verizon. He was an external affairs manager, so he was involved in a lot of issues with not only private companies, but with many of the service and nonprofit agencies throughout the state. Until Mike's passing a few months ago, he was one of the strongest advocates for the Americans with Disabilities Act, New Jersey's law against discrimination, and in particular, issues involving accessibility provisions and requirements for persons living with disabilities. This is especially true in his role on the New Jersey Department of Human Affairs Barrier-Free Access Subcommittee. He was able to offer not only theoretical advice, which many people could do, had an engineering or architectural background, but he was able to talk about the accessibility issues for building construction from a very practical viewpoint. And this is the advice came from his personal experience. Mike was a polio survivor and in a wheelchair for many, many years. In a manual wheelchair because he never wanted to give up that sense of independence. For many, many years drove a car where he had to struggle to fold that chair up and put it in the back seat until a number of his friends, including myself, kind of forced him to look into getting an accessible van. He started to reach an age similar to mine where the body starts to break down a little bit, regardless of those other issues. Mike's physical limitations never limited him from an outstanding professional career, a strong advocate for those less advantaged, and certainly for those living with disabilities. But that's not really, in my mind, the amazing part of his life. The lifelong passion for basketball. This was a sport that was as much him as anything else. He was an outstanding wheelchair basketball player. I'm told by many people that he could have set shot in from anywhere on the court. He was a coach, an organizer, a mentor, and a general manager for not only wheelchair basketball, but for basketball in general. He became somewhat of a legend, not only in wheelchair basketball, but in organizing youth and adult leagues and teams. He was the coach of one of the outstanding Shore League teams, the Jersey Shore League, which is made up of many professional and collegiate athletes. Some of the greatest basketball players in the metropolitan area have played for Mike. He was known by them and by his wheelchair colleagues as Coach Lione. Even others throughout the country recognized that ability and that desire and the overcoming of odds. He was privileged to be named as a member and did participate in the Olympic torch relay for the 1964 Olympic Games. Tonight we recognize Mike for his tireless advocacy on behalf of persons living with disabilities. The wondrous thing to me in all the years that I've known him was he never let a disability be an obstacle in his life, nor an impediment for overcoming many challenges that face not only him but all of us. He was a friend to everyone who knew him, and he would do anything for a friend. With this award, we keep his spirit as an inspiration for all of us. I'm really pleased to be able to present this first Mike Lione Award to his sister Marianne on behalf of herself and her family. Marianne.